Hello guys, my name is Imo Gerald, the community manager for Damage BDD. So in the previous video, I talked about understanding the BDD framework, which I gave about 2 examples. So today is going to be a very great, week because I have provided 4 more examples to support the 2 I gave for part 1. So I want to break down, the 4 examples I'm adding to make it 6. So every week I'll be providing 4 more examples to support every material that comes out. So for next week, that part 2 will be released of understanding the BDD framework, which is going to be more technical. I will add an extra 4 example to the one that comes with the material. So I believe this should help you understand BDD better and how to use the damage BDD platform to run a BDD test. So let's go down to where we have the test example. So on the first day, that was few days ago when the video got released. We did this as the first example, and we did the another example which was not recorded in this material, and that is my bad. I forgot to upload it in this material. So after these 4 examples, I'm going to release this material under the video on YouTube, so you get to download the material too, or I'll probably share it in the Telegram community for Damage BDD. So if you are not in the community, please join Damage BDD. Search for Damage BDD on Telegram and join. Then you get the material from there. It will be beneath under the video that will be posted. This video in particular. So for today, what we are looking at is running 4 examples. Then we conclude for today. So example 2, feature redirect test. So let me copy this to the damage BDD platform. So I'm going to refresh this because I was running another testing. I was trying to test that the outcome of the examples. So let's run this. I'm already logged in. This is it. I'm already logged in. So if you are doing that, you should also be logged in before you proceed. So let's execute this, and I'm going to explain this test for you. I'm going to make sure the test is the explanation is very simple. Now, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to open an old website address that is no longer being used, but I need a situation whereby if I open the old website, it should show an error, then redirect me to the new website. That is what I'm trying. That's the feature I'm trying to create for my developer. Now, so given you are on the website example.com, which has an old path, or which has an old page. So you try to visit an old page called old path. Then the website should respond with a message saying this page isn't valid, which is when you have status 400 on your website, it means that it is a bad path that doesn't exist anymore. Now, and the response tells your browser where to go next, pointing to what we call the new path. That is what this test is all about. Take note, today's video is going to be a little shorter than what we uploaded 2 days ago, or I think 3 days ago or so, because it's just the example. I'm not going into theory, trying to write and make more materials. No, I just want to add about 3 more examples to what we already have. So if someone visits this old link or this old page, the site should reject it and tell the browser to go to the new page instead. Now, it's a very simple test. If you've noticed, we are currently looking at basic and simple BDD tests, but take note, in part 2, as we progress, we will advance further to looking at a more advanced step. So while this is very basic and very simple, you should follow it up slowly. But I'm going to make sure the next path that will be coming out, the test is going to cover a little basic and something a little more advanced. So let's continue. We have example 3, feature upcoming site uptime monitoring. All right, so let me copy this. Okay, let me copy this to let me copy this to okay, let me copy this to this. Okay, so execute, let me execute it, and I'm going to break it down to, alright, so it's successful, line 3 is successful, line 4 is successful, line 5 is successful. Alright, the purpose for this test is to check if the website is up and it's responding. That is the main purpose of this test, which actually make it happen by visiting the home page, and it expects a response from the website. Now let me break it down further. So given you are on the website example.com, and you open the home page, that which is the when I get request to this, the website responds with a message saying there is a problem, there's actually an issue. So let me break, I think I should explain more of this scenario, which says home page should return 200, which normally means everything is working. But what I added, which is the in the test, is actually checking for a 400 error. Remember I told you, when you see a 400 error in your page, it means there's something wrong. So the code, this not the code, this test is something I did intentional to check if there is actually a mistake. And now it shows that okay, this path doesn't actually exist, that there's something wrong, that this is not the right path, which is just the slash to go to. That's why it has a 400 error. And from my output on the damaged BDD platform, it shows successful. Now on to the next. Let's check out another example before we wrap up. Like I said, I don't want this video to be long. I want it to be as short as possible. I want to make sure everybody understand this. So before I do example 4, I'll first of all look at example 5, then look at example 4, and then we can wrap up the video. Now let's test this. Control A, Control V at once. Okay, so let's execute feature. So damaged BDD is introducing a whole lot of packages to its software. If you look up, you see swaps, you see NFTs. I don't want to open this because I'll be tempted to explain, and remember I said I don't want this video to be long. I want it to be as short as possible. Now fetch existing user scenario, get a known user. So given I am using server http://request in, when I make a get request to API user 2, then the response must be 200, and the JSON at path this must be 2. Now I am trying to check if the website is I'm trying to look if the system can find a user that already exists. So I'm asking the system for a specific user, so, and which it confirms that that is an issue, because it's telling me here that then the response status must be 200. Fail, response status is not 200, got 400. So let me correct this to 400 because it's actually not found. If it was found, it would have maintained the 200, but it's not found, so it's going with 400. So but if I am to give a developer this, I'll still maintain my 200 because I want it to be found. But currently, the my test can't find user 2. That's why it's giving out this response that it's 400 because it can't be found at, or there's something wrong somewhere. And to make it short, to make it easy to to understand, so when you ask the system of for a known user, it should respond successfully and return the correct user. But in my own terms, it's not showing, so the developer has to do something about it. So if I execute this feature again, now that I've corrected it to what the system has seen, it's going to show successful, and it's going to skip line 6 here, not found, because there's something wrong, which is it must be 400, and 400 signifies that there's actually something wrong out there. So we are now going to attempt uh, example 4, I believe. Yep, example 4. Yes. So let me copy this. Oops, so it's copying with this. Let me get the feature first. Okay, yep, let me get the feature first. Okay, that's the feature. Then the scenario. Oops, let me get this guy. All right, so let me get this scenario. Okay, all right. Okay, so I believe I've copied everything. Okay, create and fetch user. Create and fetch user. Okay, so all right, so let me execute this to see the outcome. All right. Okay, so look at there's also an error. So this is why the BDD testing is very sweet and is very fun, because it shows you what is broken and what is actually working in your system. All right, so what this test is all about is just to check if a new user can be created. That's all. To check if a new user can be created, and it actually sends a user's detail to the system, and the system confirms or accepts that the user is created successfully. But in my output, it shows that there's actually something wrong when sending that request. So let me break it down step by step. So given you are using a website that manages user data, request.in, and you tell the website that you are sending user information in a standard format. When you send the website details for the new user named item 1, whose job is a tester, then the website should respond with a message saying the user was created successfully. But in this instance, my output is saying that okay, there's something wrong when this request is being made. So but in general, if this was to go successful, so it will show that the 201 code will actually show that it is successful, instead of suggesting you to use 400. So if you change here now to, you change this guy to 400, oops, to 400. All right, so you get to realize that this is working now because you've given it what it works. So you send something like this to your, so you see it's now showing success because there's something actually wrong. All right. So if I'm to send to a developer, I'm actually going to send 201 because I want that information to be done. So once a developer works on it and you run the 200 out, that the 201, it will now show successful because it's working, it's actually live. So it means that when you make a post request, when you send this data into API slash users, it doesn't create the user. It means that there's something actually wrong with the 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 API that's supposed to create the user. So this video, like I said, is going to be short, and I'm trying to make sure I break things down in an easy way for you. Because I don't want a situation where, when I bring in part two of understanding BDD for understanding BDD, you tend not to understand other examples that will come with it. That's why I'm adding extra four. You can do any test, any example by your own self, but I want to make sure I cover some other things, which as we progress, we will get into running CDP tests and running other form of tests on the damage BDD platform. So I still remain Imo Gerald, the community manager for Damage BDD. Remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, join our community on Telegram, follow us on Nostra, follow us on LinkedIn, and most importantly, be with us on every episode that we are going to drop. Thank you again for watching this episode, and I believe I've been able to break down some things. If you have questions, redirect it to me on the Telegram group. I'm available to always respond immediately. Thank you.